unworthy foes. Underestimate them, and your peril.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support. Keep up the good work. When you are ready, know to expect.
We'd be performing way better if we had better terrain. We just don't have great terrain. Regardless, this is still a very impressive performance. I mean, nothing is even coming close to hurting us. I think it's because of these stairs. The stairs are fucking so low. If they ever make an augment to Rakali's cavalry, which like makes it hit an arc or something, it's gonna break the end. Let's go for 10 minutes. Also, I'm pretty sure the game's glitching out a bit. I have Equilibrium. But there's still moments where I'm running out of energy somehow, which I quite frankly, I just don't get. I believe every enemy we kill in this form gives us a health orb, and has an increased chance to give an energy orb as well. There's no way we should ever be getting close to running out of energy. But somehow it's still... I do think this is probably the single strongest augment. I mean, it completely changes your playstyle with Dagger Fear. It's crazy fun. It's so profoundly aggressive, this playstyle. I fucking love it. I imagine this augment was Pablo's child. Funky hitboxes on Rakali's as always. This is basically just a permanent god. Such a goofy augment. Yeah, no, I'm immortal during all these cast animations, so I'm just unkillable. It's so stupid. I haven't checked out our kill rate mark. Again, it seems like there's about 100 right now. It would be high if we were on better terrain. It's just not good terrain for us. It's not bad terrain. I mean, we do have like 2 straight lines, but it definitely could be better. But I mean, like we have 2 corridors right here, which is pretty much exactly what we want. But then the problem is there's then a ramp down there and there's ramps up here. And that is what is causing problems for us. The two corridors are great, but everything around it is fucking awful. Right, that's 10 minutes. 10 minutes, just under 1,000 kills. So that is about over 100 kpm due to things. 100 kpm is very good. Yeah, like 80 kills per minute is like the baseline, right? Or was it? It's about 60. 60 to 80 is kind of like the... What, if you can't get 60 kills per minute, 60 kills per minute, yeah. 60 kpm is what you need to be able to survive in survival, I think. If you're less than 60 kills per minute, you're... So 1 kill a second, you're gonna run out of life support. 80 is like, yes, this is like a... This is what I would refer to as like a good set. Right, like 80 is like where I'm like, yeah, you can stop building that, that makes sense. But if you're... That's good enough. And then beyond 80 is where it gets good. And then 100 is like, okay, this is approaching top tier. And then 120 and above is something which is basically, you're not going to get any better than that. I've actually been testing for the last couple of hours. I should have streamed all of it. I've tested Gauss. I've tested Jaya. Actually, yeah, okay. I tested... I want to test Mag next. Tested Ember. I tested Sevagoth, who was way stronger than I was expecting. Sevagoth is really fucking good now due to his augments. Previously, his nuke was really clunky. This is now crazy. Right here, this build. I made it today. This is crazy good. This right here. This was... I think it was 120 kpm. At its best moments. It can be a little bit inconsistent. You need to... If you have Gloom on all the time, you're going to run out of energy. What you need to do is you need to balance Gloom out. Only use Gloom if you're in a dangerous spot, if you're about to die. Otherwise, Gloom slows your KPM by slowing down enemies, and it drains more energy. So, quite frankly, I think this is the best build for Sevagoth. Unfortunately, it doesn't use his mech form. But I think it's actually probably the most fun way to play him, or at least most fun way to play with you. The thing about Gloom, I really think Gloom should be nerfed or just removed from the game. Or it shouldn't be his helmet for power. Yeah, I'm alright with being on Sevagoth. It shouldn't be his helmet for power. His helmet should be re. It really should be re. Also, one of these two, it can't be in mech. And it really shouldn't be Gloom. Gloom is really unhealthy for a game. I really hate it. Putting Gloom as a subsume kind of gutted CC. It's now every frame can get a 95% slow. With lifesteal. It's ridiculous. It really should not be Gloom. Anyway, that's Sevagoth, Jaya, Gauss, we just did Dagoth. I did Kalervo. I did Jade. Right. Yeah, so Mag is frame one test. I'm gonna make a Warframe tier list soon. It's been a while. And so that's why I wanna pick for weapons. What is a good weapon for Mag? I don't know. That's the thing about Mag. I'm not very well versed in her. I'm well aware that in theory she has bonkers damage, but it doesn't always work out like that. In my experience. Let's just go for Shran. I'm not a fan of the whole "don't make enemies move" thing. That's actually kind of bad. Alright. Reach search, huh? We can't use Crush Augment here because it will make enemies just not fucking go anywhere. Do I want this mag fashion? Yeah.
Operator, you have remembered well how the Tenno arm themselves.
It's been many times. I don't know, I really want to like Mag, but something about her just irks me. Just deeply. Whenever I look at any of her fashions, when I first look at them, I'm like, fuck yeah, I love it. But then the moment I start playing her, I'm like, this is so gross. I don't know what it is.
The canvas of war.
Man, the other day I saw a tier list and I saw someone put Octavia at the top. Oh god, it's so cringe. Octavia's not close to being the best frame in the game. She's not even top tier anymore. That's the thing. Octavia, when she first released, yes. Octavia, when she first released, holy fuck, she was broken. When Octavia first released, she was by far the best frame. She had the best damage output, she had the best invis, she had some of the best damage buffs in the game, and she gave energy regeneration, which at the time was fucking cracked. At the time, the only other form of energy regen we had was Zenith. And pre-nerf Energize. Also back then, Energize was way harder to get.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you
Yeah,
out.
so when Octavia
Hold
first
on.
released, she was fucking busted. And I feel like that's why a lot of people still think she's busted. But she really isn't, guys. Octavia's not that crazy. But I'll be honest, I don't think I know how to play Mag. I'm not quite sure how her abilities even work. How are people getting hurt all the way over here? What? It's been a very long time since I've really played Mag in any serious level. I mean, research is working pretty damn well. Oh, that was a bit of damage, okay.
Get ready for a capsule.
But we're at 1.5 minutes, 166 kills. I was not expecting that. Wow, okay. Actually, we have a really wide open room here. This is actually what we want for my sub. My sub's a high range sub. 55 million. Whoa. Okay. 55 million damage hit. What's Breach Surge is great because it actually lures enemies in like that. If enemies are blinded, then they're less likely to resist from the fall. So enemies stop spawning over here. Not tonight.
Life support incoming.
Maybe less power duration, more efficiency right now, so I've exhausted myself eventually. I miss back when Shillong was good
I've
content.
delivered another life support capsule.
Get rid of this. Don't want to get into another random amount of chill up. It's one of my favourite YouTubers now. He's just hated. I can never get into a critical sphere because I'm too not willing to communicate kindly for people. If I think someone's an arsehole, I'm going to treat them like I think they're an arsehole. Which in turn will probably make me look like an arsehole as well. I fully understand that. And that's why I'm probably never going to be able to get into any kind of critical circle. And I kind of get that. Although I think maybe we should be more transparent about what these people are actually like, though. Because I'm not really doing anything different to them. Right, we're at 4 minutes. 466. Okay, we're way better than I was expecting. The thing is, MAG does have line of sight restrictions, so what we have right now is the single best scenario we could possibly ask for. This is the biggest room in the game. So this is best case scenario right now. And this is also using Breach Surge, which doesn't have a base kit. And that is massively boosting our damage. Most of its damage is coming from Breach Surge. We would be better off using Nautilus here, though. We'd switch to Nautilus prior to starting this week and see some slightly better results.
The raid is off to a successful start.
I'm at 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 5.6 kills. Well, the thing is, of course, whenever you calculate KPM, you need to take off like 30 seconds or something. You need to take into account you moving between locations and enemies spawning in the start of a mission. So that's 5 minutes. That's probably more like, it's more than 100 kills per minute. That's probably about like 110. Actually, I mean, it's more than 110 anyway. This is a really good KPM, actually. This is more than 120, I would say. Maybe just about 120. I'd say we probably had 4.5 minutes of killing. So this is really good, but it is best case scenario and with Helminth. Now, with Helminth, I think Helminth absolutely should be considered when like tiering a frame, because it is part of a frame's capabilities. If you're not going to include Helminth, then you can't include Arcane Energize, in my mind. Because Helminth is easier to get than Energized. So I think we just be smart about it, just be logical. Like, if it's something really niche, then don't give credit for it. I do wish we had more wide open areas like this. Oh, it's not here. And you're dead. Those big numbers are very satisfying. Yeah, this is best case scenario. right now with Helmet. So take it with a grain of salt. If we weren't using Breach Surge here, our damage would be way less. The explosion damage and the damage inside the altar. I'm having fun, which I wasn't expecting. I've always said, if you play games purely for fun, purely for the satisfaction of pressing an input and getting an output, the very fundamental game design, Warframe's the best game ever made. I don't think there's much debating. I think you're extremely hard pressed to find a game which has more content or more ways to do that. Of course, if you start looking at other things, then Warframe does start having problems. But I do still think, regardless of what I just said right there, I do still think Warframe is one of the best games ever made. I think, yeah, I doubt. I think Warframe is a very strong contender for best free-to-play game ever made. And by very strong contender, I mean I think it'd be pretty stupid for you to say any other game. I'm not going to say you're 100%, but I'm going to say 99%. I think Warframe's best free-to-play game ever made. And don't call me a Warframe shill, because if you watched my stream last night, that was entirely bitching about the game. I do not worship Warframe. I've been highly critical of the game for recent years. I've been mainly shit-talking it since 2021. Despite the fact that a lot of people would say this is Warframe at its peak. I do think gameplay-wise this is Warframe at its peak, but I do think narratively, right now, we're at Warframe's lowest point. Like I said, I used to play Warframe for a story. I do not play Warframe for a story anymore. I play completely fucking games. I will stop it in 10 minutes. I really wish I had streamed my testing the other frames. I did take some clips, which I'll post to Instagram. So I want to get some evidence for my tier list. I am not about to test every frame in the game. I'm not going to fucking do that for a tier list which one person will see. And even then, they probably won't be even the person that plays Warframe, so they won't understand it. So I'm not going to bother. But I still feel an obligation to have integrity, unlike chill up. So, I still want to test at least a good amount of the frames. Mainly the ones which I have little experience with, such as Mag. Which is funny, of course, Mag was one of my first primes, and she was one of my first frames as well. I'm not sure if I remember, I might have actually picked Mag as my starter. I know I picked her as my starter on PlayStation, when I started my PlayStation, when I got a PS5. But when in my first original in 2016, I wish I actually told you what your starter was. Maybe I do somewhere. Oh. But I think my starter might have been Mag. It definitely wasn't Volt. I know it wasn't Volt, because I've never really liked Volt.
A valuable lesson.
But it totally might have been Mag. And I quickly moved on to Excalibur. Or it might have been I started with Excalibur and I bought Mag with something like the starter pack. All I know is I did have Mag very early on. I did also have Excalibur very early. Maybe I did pick Excalibur. 2 frames. Sephiroth Prime's Shadow? Excuse me? This ain't right. Sephiroth Prime Shadow shouldn't be on here. Why is he counted towards mastery? Regular Sephiroth doesn't have that, does he? Alright, here's my frames by most used. Naros at 4% is fucking crazy. It's just because back in the day I used to run in Naros literally all the time. From pretty much for when I first started the game, I don't know who my starter was. It was either Mag or Excalibur. I very quickly got Rhino, and I stuck with Rhino for a long time. And then, once I got Inaros, I moved on to Inaros. So basically, from 2016, my first 1,000 or so hours of the game, or yeah, at least like my first year of the game, I played as pretty much Rhino and Inaros exclusively. I used them a lot. Mind you, of course, I have 6,000 hours playtime, so 4% of that. That's a lot. That's a lot of hours.
Do you know which finger the corpus used to count their money? The index.
That's 240 hours, I think, on Inaros, if I did my maths right there. 240 hours. Not as many on Inaros Prime. Where's Inaros Prime? Or Trinity. I already had Trinity Prime when I got Trinity. So she's the only frame that was true for, actually, I think. Every other frame in the game I've obtained their regular before the Prime. Trinity's the only case where I actually got the Prime first. Or maybe Ash as well. Maybe Ash. As you can see, that someone more. Also, maybe Saren and Banshee? No, not Banshee. I know I had Banshee, regular Banshee before Banshee Prime. I just didn't use her a lot, did I? Maybe it might be true for Saren as well. The more recent frames, obviously, I have not used as much. Fucking Grendel, man. Of course, Grendel used to be my main. And then the Grendel rework is the biggest nerf in the game's history. And now no one likes Grendel, not even previous Grendel mains. Now I don't use them. I haven't used Protea Prime a lot, just because I haven't used Protea Prime a lot. Her Prime access ended just yesterday. So she's very new, and so that's why she has a very low usage rate. Again, 0.1%. is still a lot. 0.1% is still what? 6 or 7 hours. I'm closer to 7,000 hours now. I don't know how many. I've stopped keeping track. This says 3234. But what happened here is during COVID, something happened. I don't know what it was, but during COVID, my play hours reset. But although my play hours reset, it didn't affect this data. This data remained the same. So that's why I can still trust these numbers. These numbers have never changed. Well, by never changed, I mean they didn't reset to 0. Back in COVID, before COVID hit in 2020, I had 3,400 hours? I think it was 3,400. It was somewhere around there. More than 3,300, less than 3,700, I'd say. Somewhere around that ballpark. And then for some reason, the play hours just drops to 0 for no reason. I don't know why. But since COVID, this is 3,234 hours played since COVID. Since 2020. In the last 4 years, that's 3,000 hours played. And in the 4 years before that, it was another 3,000 hours played. So, yeah, I'd estimate like 6,600 hours total. I don't know why this happened, and it really annoys me. But I can still trust these numbers, at least. But yeah, so 0.1% is still, like, a good amount of time. I mean, basically, to put this in perspective, I've played Protea Prime for as long as an average playthrough of Metal Gear Rising. Of course, that's Protea Prime. Here's my regular Protea usage. I've also found a trend. When I buy a Prime via Prime Access, I tend to not use them as much. Right, so what other frames would I want to test? I feel like I should test Volt, but I just don't like him. So I don't think I will. Plus, I can already... He's a worse child. So I already really know what to expect out of him. I wish, DE, if it's possible, you're not listening. If it's possible, add like a date acquired thing to it. Just for like little purposes. I think that'd be really cute. I think you could do that. I would love to go back and see like what order I obtained for frames in. Oh, Nova has 0.6%. That's quite surprising. I distinctly remember I got Nova shortly before Nova Prime. Like, I think I could have sworn I had Nova Prime building when I picked up Nova. I could have sworn. Poor fucking Ivara, man. Look, frames I made, right? I've had quite a few mains throughout Warframe's history, right? My first main was Rhino, then it was Inaros, then it was Mesa. Everyone's had a Mesa main phase, everyone has. Out of all the frames, I think my most used is actually Mesa. 2.7, 3.3 adds up to 6%. Oh no, Nova beats it out. Nova beats out every other frame at 8%. Of course, it's from Hydrant, and also just from playing Nova casually. I play a lot of Nova casually, actually. Oh, my Cerberus Prime usage is going down, finally. I haven't used Cerberus in so long. Look, fucking Epitaph, man. Oof. Oh boy. Legion is also so high up. Pretty much throughout the entirety of 2016 and 2017, I used nothing but Legion. Like every other melee I got in that time period, the first couple of years of me playing the game, I would level it up for Mastery and then immediately bench it because I didn't like anything more than Legion. As my Legion usage is also absurdly high, despite the fact I haven't used it since probably like 2019. Epitaph, man. That is over 700 hours. Right? Yes, that's 700 hours on Epitaph. Fuck me. Woof. That's too much. Well, some of my friends have like thousands of hours played on Mirage. Can I? Oh, Tyler was on 3 days ago. Ah, Joker. Are you even alive anymore, man? And now, Joker's play hours also isn't quite accurate. He has, I think, at least 12,000 last time I checked, and that was a year or two ago. Or a long time ago. So Joker has some fucking crazy usage stats. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh no, it's fucking ZipF. Oh no, god damn it, Vsauce. Not quite. Oh, look at all these frames he hasn't got. Joker, wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, where's FM? Right. Ooh. Funky operator. 20% Nova usage. I don't know if other people were affected by the COVID thing that I got affected by as well. It's like, me having more playtime than FM does not feel right. So you might have been affected by it as well. Oh yeah, Nightwave is ending soon, which is fucking brilliant for me.
Welcome.
Yeah, let's do one more.
And we're out.
Okay. Don't need to test the Zaku. We know how good Zaku is. Zaku is good. Zaku is better Octavia. That's the thing. Let me actually break it down why Octavia is not as good as other frames anymore. Right? On the tier list, I would say Octavia's probably outlined for the very top of A tier, but you can get plenty of frames. There's plenty of frames better than Octavia. The one advantage Octavia does have over other frames nowadays is, first of all, her passive, which is nice. As an extra, it's 30 energy for free over 30 seconds. Still a good passive, even by today's standards. Still good. Back in the day, this was fucking cracked. Mallet is still like one of the best damage. Okay. The problem is, of course, Octavia's damage comes from Mallet, right? Mallet requires enemies to hit it for it to deal damage, which means its damage output is just not as good as other things. Because Gaussy boy, can nuke a 31 meter radius, 32 meter radius once every second. And then you can use Mark Rush to move on to another room and do the same thing. Octavia's nowhere near Gauss levels. Gauss is the best Warframe in the game, by far. Like, by far. Like, if we're talking base kit, by far. If you're counting Helmet, then other frames can come close. But if you're only looking at base kit Warframe performance, Gauss is so absurdly far ahead of every other frame in the game, it's actually a bit sad. And that's funny as well, because Gauss has not changed since his release. He's the least changed Warframe. He's had basically fucking nothing done to him. He's just perfect. I love some new augments from him, though. I don't know what you'd do for him, but it's something. Yeah, the main thing is just Octavia needs enemies. First of all, it also has a line of sight requirement. But you need enemies to shoot it, you need enemies to be in line of sight, and it's a stationary tool. And its damage, although good, there are better damage scalers now. Back in the day, this was the only... Yeah, I think it was really the only enemy level scaling thing we had in the game. There's Necros, and there's always been Mag. Otherwise, I don't think really anything scaled off enemy level. But it's nowhere near as impressive anymore. Octavia's 2 is one of the best abilities in the game, but it's awful for Octavia, because it actually lowers her Mallet's damage output even further. So get rid of Octavia's 2, don't use it. It's also pointless because its main purpose is to distract enemies, so he don't shoot you, but then you can go invisible with metronome. Like the credit I'll give to saying Octavia is good is that she's still one of the best damage dealers, and when I say one of, I mean you can maybe say she's top 10. You can't say she's top 5. You can maybe say she's top 10. Even then, I'm not sure about that. I mean, we have over 50 frames now, right? Yeah. She's top 20. I'd say definitely. Top 10, even, I'm doubting. But on top of that, she also has buffs for the party. You got melee damage, you got speed, you got multi-shot, and you have invisibility, and you have an armor buff as well. You have all of that, and you also get a damage buff. But it's not a super great damage buff. I believe this is like Serration. So yeah, Amp is not crazy, but I mean at the time, like all of this was crazy. And it still is good, but she's not even top 2 anymore. I saw Warframe tier list recently where they put Octavia in top slot, and I was just like, fuck's sake, man. It's a good indicator that you don't really play the game. Well, Octavia's nowhere near top sport anymore. Nowhere near it. Something I've always loved about her design is that she's very clearly a homage to Excalibur. To me, like, compare her head to Excalibur. It's similar. And that's probably what really always made me love her. Like, I love Octavia. I love her design. She's one of my favourite Warframes fashion-wise. And also, for us, obviously, the Manticore is just such a unique mechanic. It doesn't make her the best frame in the game, right? I'm kind of tempted to test Protea now. Poor fucking Lavos. Testing Limbo in a practical setting would be interesting. Most of the time when I test Limbo, it's only in a simulacrum. That's the thing, Limbo is probably the hardest frame to play in the game, and he doesn't reward you for it. That's the problem with Limbo. He's the hardest frame to play in the game, and your only reward for it... your only base kit reward for playing Limbo, despite him being the hardest frame to play in the game, your base kit reward is general immortality. Like, it's not even outright immortality anymore because Eximus don't care about stasis. That's base kit. You can use his augment to get a damage boost, but even then it's not a great damage boost. Maybe we test Limbo. So I think, like, you can argue that Limbo's the best frame in the game because he literally just freezes all enemies. You can also argue he's the fucking worst. So Limbo is in such a strange limbo. Rune would be an interesting one to test, but I mean, I don't think she's changed at all since her release. She's good. She's really good. She can hit 120 kpm sometimes. It's difficult, and her damage is based on RNG partially. So her main source of damage is her 2, not her 4, her 2. Gara, there's some funky builds you can do with Gara, which are really OP. Are they a little bit finicky to do? Yes. And for that reason, I don't know about it. Like, that thing, there's a bunch of frames which sure can approach Gauss's level of power, but Gauss does it fucking casually. He does it in his base kit. Whereas other Warframes will require Helminth and powerful arcanes and niche mods and niche weapons just to approach his base kit power. It's kind of funny. Don't need to test Revenant. Poor Nezha. Got myself an ice cream. Something I do want to know about, Gauss, is like, again, I don't Google shit for Warframe. How does Thermal Sunder actually scale? Regardless, I'm pretty sure it scales with enemy max health. Wait. Okay, there it is. The armor that it strips is based on your battery level. I used to think it was based on your redline level, and a lot of other people shared that misconception. No, it's just based on your battery level. Right. Ice cream finished. I think that's a common misconception. Because of that, Gauss, people don't think Thermal Sunder is as strong as it is. Because it is very, very strong. I still see people saying, don't bother with a blast, just use Heat Thermal Sunder. You're fucking... It actually makes me angry, because that's really bad false information. Using heat-only Thermal Sunder is so much fucking weaker than regular Thermal Sunder. Especially now with a blast rework. I'm a little bit unsure if it works correctly, but it does inflict blast, which would mean that now with a blast rework, you get an additional fucking explosion when the enemy dies. So actually the blast rework should have buffed Gauss even further, as if he fucking needed it. But do not use exclusively Heat Thermal Sunder. Only do that if you're subsuming Thermal Sunder onto another frame. Because on another frame, you can't get the armor strip. You can't get the special Thermal Sunder. Because of course, Thermal Sunder in Redline gets the armor strip and the enemy health scaling bonus. So when you use it on another frame, Thermal Sunder's damage is a fraction of what it is on Gauss. It's less than like 10%. Right, so on another frame, sure, go ahead and use Thermal Sunder in heat form, because it will do decent with heat inherit. But that's it. But yeah, no other frame can even approach Gauss, even with helmet. Corvex is funky. I don't feel like playing Dante. I'm sorry, I just don't feel like it. I get why DE nerfed him because he was absurdly powerful, But I feel like after they nerfed him, he now feels not strong enough. Even though he is still like probably a top tier frame. I don't know, okay, we should test him. Okay, we'll test Dante. I wish I'd started streaming when I was testing Gauss, because it was fucking beautiful. I hit 150 kills per minute at one point, I think. They did fix the explosive ledger domain strat working with what's it called? Argonac Metal Auger. It's a shame they fixed that, because that was the best build in the game. That had over 200 kills per minute. Nothing else in the game even gets close to 200 kills per minute. That's the thing about Gauss as well, is that unlike other nukes, of course, the only limit on his nuke is the enemy spawns. That's also part of why old Grendel was the best frame in the game, is because the only limit to his kills was, are the enemies spawning optimally enough? So, like, that's the thing. Gauss can kill a 32-meter radius in his base kit. I cannot stress this enough. Base kit Gauss, no helmet, not even any augments. Base kit motherfucking Gauss can kill every enemy in a 31.8 meter radius every second. And he has the highest mobility of any frame in the game. Unless you want to count teleportation, or maybe Grendel in certain situations. But teleportation is finicky because of teleportation. So I would still say Gauss is comfortably the most mobile frame in the game. Force is making a video on it. No other frame can do that. No other frame in the game can do that. It's infinitely scaling on enemy health as far as I can tell. It arm strips, it does enough damage to deal with shields. I'm pretty sure it also strips shields. It shreds through Eximus even fairly fast. It can fucking one-shot acolytes even. It goes through everything. And you can do it every second. No line of sight restrictions. Not even any fucking height restrictions. That was something I was amazed by. I went into a big room, like a plaza room with the elevator on it. It's one of the biggest rooms in the game. It has a fucking elevator and it has 3 different sets of ramps. Yeah, 3 different sets of ramps in that level. And it has an underground sewers area enemies sometimes get in. No height restriction on this ability. It was hitting enemies on every floor of that room. Thermal Sunder is fucking cracked on Gauss. On other frames, it's meh. On Gauss, it's fucking absurdly overpowered. I mean, I wouldn't even describe it as overpowered. It's actually kind of fair, but it still makes him the best frame in the game. That's the thing. Your only limit is just how well are the enemies spawning. How well are they getting into your 32-meter radius nuke? That's a problem which every frame has, though. Well, correction, there are 2 frames. There's 2 frames in the game that do not suffer from that problem. Do you know who they are? Saren. Saren with 1 build. Sobek. Saren with Sobek does not suffer from that issue. And the second one is a new frame, technically, kind of. It's a new setup. It is Sevagoth. The new nuke with Sevagoth. His new augments. Sevagoth's new augments allow him to nuke rooms from a distance away. But other than that, Gauss is the only frame in the game whose, like, limitation... What am I on about? Those are the only 2 frames in the game who can somewhat, to an extent, just bypass the enemy spawning issue. But otherwise, Gauss's kill rate is the enemy spawn rate, basically. And the same was true for classic Grendel until they gave him the biggest nerf in Warframe history. They gave him 2 of the biggest nerfs in Warframe history. First of all, they limited his his maximum enemy count to 40, which was not the biggest nerf ever. because I mean, like, beyond 40 enemies, you're probably going to run out of energy anyway. But still, I sometimes went up to 50 enemies before that nerf. We did that, so that was a nerf. It was not too bad of a nerf. I was okay with it. I was slightly nerfed, but I was okay with it. I would have rather it be like 50 enemies or 60 even. Because you never go beyond 60 enemies on Classic Grendel. But regardless, 40, whatever. And then, of course, we're lowered it down to 5. Which is by far the biggest nerf in Warframe history, and that killed Grendel. We'll never forgive DE for that. Anyway, let's go test Dante. It's been a while since I've used him now, actually. Oh shit, it's actually been a while since Dante released, hasn't it? Did Dante release after Corvex? Yes, he did. He released after. So we had Corvex, we had Dante, and then we had Jade, right? Okay, so never mind, it's not that long. How's my Dante fashion? You like it? I think I still remember all the spells.
These are worthy foes. Underestimate them, and you are barren.
Do we want Shrun or do we want Noctua? I don't remember how strong Noctua is. Now let's try it. But yeah, of course, Dante's received some massive nerfs. Let's have this ready to go the moment enemy spawn. Trinity I would say Trinity is probably the worst frame in the game right now. Or maybe tied for it. So Trinity does have good augments, which I can give her credit for at least. Like she has Champion's Blessing, which is actually a pretty good damage buffer.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out.
Alright.
I'm sending auxiliary life support.
This is a good room. Okay, let's chill in here. Things at least it still has like a long range for you. And we're almost down energy. Okay, yeah, we are really bad on energy. We might have to actually have to back out and retool this build. Because this energy is not sustainable. Maybe once we get some Xmas in for some guaranteed drops. Mind you, I have Zenuit.
Capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you
That's the thing, if a build cannot sustain even with Zenuit, then that's a bad. You got something wrong going on there. That's the only one of the support spells you really need. And the Overguard one, of course. Thing is, of course, a nerf is inherently just annoying because it's like now we've lost what once was. Right? So this is still not bad, but like this, let's not even pretend this is anywhere close to what it once was.
Get ready for a capsule.
And again, we're having energy problems. Because this is a blind rage build, I think. Yeah, this is blind rage, which also means we're high on power strength. Maybe now it's better to go for less range and just more strength.
Another life support capsule.
See, like right there, that guy just barely eclipsed the door, and that fucking stopped him. Does it no longer take slash procs from enemies that are out of line of sight as well? Because that's really bad. It feels like it's not. And we're out of engine. What am I doing? I just pressed like all the wrong things at once. At least Noctua is still pretty fucking cracked. I do believe some people do just use Noctua on like run and gun builds, which seem like they would be viable. Would they even be as good as this? I don't know, but probably would be viable. Right, let's see how he handles Acolyte.
The raid is off to a successful start. When you are ready, go to extraction.
Okay, 5 minutes, 465 kills. That's really sad. And this is probably one of the better rooms for him. It's not the best room. The best room is, of course, the circle room with 2 floors. That's the best room for most other things in the game. Is this it? No, it's not. This room is really bad. Yeah, so Dante not doing so hot.
It is done.
Love folks who love what they do.
Does he even make top tier with that? 5 minutes, less than 100 kills per minute. That's not good. That's really not good. I mean, it is good. It's literally good. But, you know, he used to be the best frame in the game. Well, not quite. Like, even with how cracked he was back then, pre-nerf, he still wasn't as good as Gauss. I mean, sure, he would get bigger damage numbers, but Gauss is still killing them. Like, Dante's just overkill. Yeah, so that's not great for Dante. There was one more frame I wanted to test, wasn't there? Should we test Limbo? Fuck it, let's test Limbo. Right. I've yet to see a fucking nullifier in these missions for some reason. But I think I'm grateful. Yeah, this build works. Damn it, Pablo, that's why I named it. Now, of course, most people still don't know how to play Limbo. He is the hardest frame to play in the game. I think there's little debate about that.
Their rage is vehement, their focus impressive. Give them a warrior's death.
Thing is, it'd be so easy. It'd be so easy to buff Limbo to actually be a good frame. All they need to do is make Rift Surge. I think what he said is make it so the Rift Surge works. It counts a kill as a banish. That's it. That's all he needs to do. Just that, and I think that would immediately fix Limbo and actually make him fun to play. He can be fun to play, but we'll see. I think it's a very mixed bag. Because what you do with Limbo, right? Banish. First of all, you stasis. Banish, Rift, Banish, Rift. And from then on, you basically just spam this. You spam these two and keep stasis alive at all times. You only use Cataclysm in an emergency. That's the thing, Cataclysm is actually Limbo's worst power.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying
Let's
to
see if we
choke
can
you
get
out.
into rhythm.
Hold on.
That's the thing, back when Limbo first got his rework, the whole... This is good. Okay. And now we can start shooting. Maybe we should just
Prepare for life support.
So what the fuck's going on with that guy? And now no one's in the rift.
I delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
So this kind of works. We're 2 minutes in, and we're at 164 kills, right? So we're putting in so much fucking mechanical effort right now, just for an Exma standing behind me to fucking almost kill me, and for a subpar KPM. Did we die? We're about to die. I can't bother. I cannot bother. See, that problem would be fixed if they simply made it so that killing an enemy that was affected by his free spreads as free or activated as free. Right now it spreads as free. In fact, what it does is completely fucking useless, right? Surged enemies that leave a rift perform a radial banish. So what you do, right, is you banish an enemy into a rift. You then use Rift Surge. You then use Banish. You then go into a rift yourself, right? So a loop is banish an enemy into a rift. Then enter a rift yourself. Then you surge. You can also surge before you enter yourself, but yeah. Okay? So starting, you can't be in a rift, okay? So you're not in rift. Banish, surge. Enter a rift yourself. Banish, surge, stasis. Stasis at some point at the start. Okay. Here's the loop, okay? Okay? You're not in a rift. Stasis, banish, surge. Rift yourself, banish, surge. And then it's just surge, banish, rinse and repeat. Over and over. What's your reward for that? I don't know. It's like you're immortal because none of the enemies can move, but also means the enemies aren't going to come to you, and Limbo doesn't have any mobility powers to make up for that. And he doesn't get much of a damage buff. No damage buff in base kit. And sure, he gets energy, but what's the point in this? Just use Rhino. Just use any frame which has any kind of tanking capabilities and a damage booster, and you have an objectively better experience. There's no reason to do it. Right? My suggestion for the whole thing, I like the idea. What this does is, right now, when you kill a surged enemies, it sends a surge to an enemy outside a rift.
But it also creates rubble.
Right? That doesn't really help. It doesn't really help you at all. Surging an enemy that's outside a rift. Because you're going to upcast another surge the moment that enemy enters rift anyway. So there's no point. It doesn't really benefit you in any way. Right? So I mean, keep that effect, sure. It's pointless, but there's no reason to remove it. Keep that. Make it so it triggers a radial banish if you kill an enemy. That's it. It is that simple. Also, increase the size of a radial banish. It's right now 5 meters. You could bump that up to 8. You really could bump it up to 8, and there wouldn't be much. Maybe 8 is a bit too much, but you could definitely increase it by at least 1.5. Also, get rid of Cataclysm. I would say get rid of Cataclysm and replace it with an ability which groups enemies together for you and or teleports you to them. That's what I would do, is I would have it be, so what Cataclysm does, here's an idea, right? You can keep the kind of animation, the thematic, the animation is really cool, right? So here's what you do. Make it so Cataclysm groups enemies together. So it takes every enemy in its effective range, it groups them together into a little ball for you, and then it teleports you to them. He does a little magic show of his hands, and then it does damage to him. There you go. It's that simple. That's what I would say to do. Then what I think you would end up, he would kind of feel like Gauss, I think, if you did that. He'd be a weaker, more complicated Gauss. But he would still have the spirit of what he is right now. I think that's the way to treat him. Limbo, fuck you. I hate you. I love his design so much. I love his concept so much. It's just awful fucking execution, and DE don't care enough. to fucking actually fix them. That's the thing. Sometimes Pablo does incredible things, which are genuinely impressive, and other times he does things that are so laughably incompetent, it doesn't make sense. Since we bailed on that one, I feel like we should do another test. Can we be bothered? I don't know if I can be bothered. I say bothered, but I'm having fun. Or Banshee. Banshee's in the same boat, like there's no reason to use her. She just has no benefit to her playstyle. Right, let's do something style. Let's go with Burst and Prime. Right, here we go, yeah. If you're using Banshee, you have to have Resonator on. You have to, otherwise she's going to die pretty quickly. But there's 2 ways to play Banshee. 3 ways to play Banshee. This, Marked for Death, nukes, which aren't that great anymore, or you can run over Bloom. Banshee is one of the frames which needs quite a comprehensive rework. Again, cool idea, Sonar really should just go onto enemies' heads. It really should. What I think Sonar should do is should do what it does right now, as well as putting a hit spot on the enemy's head. And I think it's the little places. Right, no, here's how Sonar should work, right? Just a little rework to it. The damage multiplier it gives is a headshot damage multiplier. And then what it does is makes it so that hitting those crit spots also counts as a headshot. So you can still aim for a head, or you can aim for a special spot. Either way, it's the same thing. I think that would be good. That would also allow her to interact with special arcanes, like Primary Deadhead. I think that would be a very good welcome change to Sonar. Sonic Boom is actually kind of fine as is. I think maybe just like give it a wider cone, and I think you could argue that it shouldn't cost any energy. I really like the idea of a Warframe ability which just doesn't cost energy. It's a really low effort power. It doesn't have a super strong effect, but it costs literally nothing to use. I feel like that's what Sonic Boom should be. It does have an armor strip. Why run an armor strip when you have one of the best damage buffs in the game? Let's run Banshee. Not sure how well this is going to go.
Operator, you have remembered well how the Tenno arm themselves.
Oh yeah, I stopped going over the whole main situation, didn't I? Right? First frame over mained Rhino, then Inaros, then Mesa. After that, I did use Staring quite a lot. Banshee. I did main Banshee in the past, back when she was way more viable, but since then she's fallen off. Ivara. I mained Ivara for a while. Again, that's less than 2%, that doesn't seem like a lot. That's over 100 hours. Right? So when I say main, I don't mean I have 30% usage on a frame. Because for me to do that, I would have to play that frame non-stop for a year. It's just absurd, and I don't like doing that. As you can see, I play a good variety of frames. My highest used is 7.4%. They're my highest used because you I use them in Hydrant, which is where you spend a significant amount of your game time, or at least in the past you did. Nowadays you don't really have to go to Hydrant. I still do. But that's a lot of playtime. So I shift mains, right? Yeah, so it was Rhino, Inaros, Mesa, probably Venivara. No, Saren Venivara. I did main Wukong for a while after his rework.
The system continues to fall into chaos.
I think.
Check navigation for active invasions.
Yeah, I didn't abuse him like other people did. I didn't just give him like a czar and then just sit in the corner and let him play the game for me. I actually played him like he was meant to be played. Using his exalted weapon. Oh yeah, I mained Umbra after he came out because he's fucking badass. Of course. I like how you can tell, like right here, the improvement in build. We have an equal usage rate, yet Umbra has way more kills. Frost, I did main Frost for a while, a year or two ago. Of course, Grendel, I was a Grendel main in 2020. I shifted from Grendel to Protea. Grendel and Protea are like my two favourite mains I ever had. And then they nerfed Grendel, and then I didn't really get tired of Protea. I was just like, I should play other frames. So I started playing other frames more. Daggith, I mean, I don't know if you could really say I mained him, but I really loved my time with Daggith, and I still do. But yeah, I suppose since then, the main I've had since then is Gauss. So I did more experimentation with Gauss. Part of, you need to accept with Gauss, your battery meter is not going to be 100% all the time, and that's okay. Also, with Gauss, pro tip, oh, I didn't know this thing. I'll check out in a moment, actually. Remote play control. Thank you. Where's what I'm looking for? The thing where you can adjust your abilities. Here you go, here it is. Where's Gauss on this list? Gauss is really the only frame of game that you should invert. When you're inverting controls, you should consider like which variation are you using more often. Right? If you're using the tap more often, then don't invert it. If you're using the hold more often, then you should invert it. With Gauss, normally it's tap for cold and then hold for heat. You want the opposite. You want the heat first. A lot of people don't get this. That simple action, doing heat first before you do the cold for Gauss's nuke, increases your damage output for him. Because what that does, using heat drains the battery, but then using the cold increases the battery, which increases it back up to 100%, and then it triggers the damage from your thermal sunder, which then does the nuke. If you do it the opposite way around, your damage isn't quite as good. And that's, I think, a problem other people have. But I have it inverted, so it's a tap and then a hold. It's just that, over and over, tap, hold, tap, hold, tap, hold. It's an endless nuke. It's so much fun. It is so much fun to nuke with Gauss. That's the thing, nuking with Warframes can get kind of boring. Not with Gauss. Not with Gauss. I actually want to change my UI. I've been meaning to do it for a while. HUD scale. Is that just what I think it does?
That's all we have time for.
Their rage is vehement, their focus impressive. Give them, all warriors.
Has that changed it?
Death.
Okay, it has. Okay, great. Let's just increase it all the way to 150. Things like I often play Warframe leaning back in bed, and the numbers on my stuff is so small I struggle to see it. I might be a little bit too big now. It might also just be because I'm closer to the screen. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. The thing about Banshee is that she's supposed to be a damage buffer, but her buff is still the best buff in the game, I think. But it's not even by that much anymore. Yet she has so many other things. It's like, once again, kind of like Limbo, it's a lot of investment for no payoff. So I mean, she's fun, but she deserves a buff. I think when buffing a frame, I don't want to change their playstyle, right? It's what they did with Grendel, and it was awful. So now no one plays Grendel. People like me that mained him beforehand now hate him, and the new players weren't interested enough, so now no one plays Grendel. Like, they killed Grendel by reworking him. With Banshee, no one uses her 4. You can safely delete her 4 from the game, because her 4 completely contradicts the rest of her kit. 3, I almost feel like Banshee's 3 should actually be part of her passive. Maybe you can make it so that part of her passive is that her 3 is just always active, and it's then give it a restricted range. So it's like a base 10 meters, and it's always just 10 meters. That could be something interesting, and then you can give her a new 3rd and 4th ability, which somehow plays into the rest of her kit. Also, the reason why I have so much energy on this build, right, is to spam her 2. So that way her 2 just has millions of fucking spots.
They have just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support capsules your way.
Oh, look at those enemy spawns. Really should have natural talent on here. Also, we're actually performing quite well so far, aren't we? This is actually doing pretty well. But again, do keep in mind, we have Resonator here. We're not doing anywhere near as good around Resonator. Resonator's doing all the work for us right now. Are the blast procs hitting the Resonator spots? I think they might be. Reason why I love bursting is because of that.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
That's the thing, like, the damage numbers get in the way of the crit spots. I can't see them. And also, again, what I suggested, it would also give a unique synergy with Incarnons, which I don't think anyone would complain about.
Life
233 kills at we're at 100 KPM, which all things considered is pretty good. Right here, we're losing a lot of KPM during that animation. We just got a natural talent that would increase our KPM by a respectable bit. Also, I do not need this much fire rate on bursting.
Another life support capsule.
Also, I mean, this is Burston doing most of the work. We are buffing it, but Burston Incarnon is kind of just about OP. Also, sonar spots are also not very generous. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're bugged a little bit. I'm definitely having fun. But, like, I don't know how much of this I can credit to Banshee. This might just be Burston being OP. Oh shit. Well, this is gonna lower our KPM. Don't you just love it? Yeah. Oh, well, we got the res. Don't you just love it when the Acolyte has the ability to kill you? It's literally just an instant kill button. It's not cool. Why have DE never changed that? This Sonar Augment really should be base kit. It's so essential. It really should be base kit.
Our operative is making progress. This will help our cause. When you are ready, go to extraction.
Okay. Bearing in mind you're having a Acolyte, that's a really good KPM. That's better than Dante. And Banshee's Sonar definitely was helping. I think the blast procs might be hitting the Sonars. Which is funny because also I think something funny I learned from all my time experimenting with Resonator on Banshee is I'm pretty sure Resonator can fucking hit the sonar, which I know is fucking bizarre. But I think it can. I don't know how often it happens, but I think it does happen. There's sometimes where I'm playing and I just see some like really oddly high damage numbers from the Resonator. Also, I get it's really confusing because I'm pretty sure Augment's called Resonating Sonar or something, and then we have an ability called Resonator. And the other ability is called Sonar, so it gets confusing. Resonator, Sonar. Resonance, yeah. It's a little bit confusing. We really should put Natural Talent on here somewhere. Quite frankly, I don't think we used Rolling Guard a lot. It'd be risky, but we do have Resonator already helping us out. I'm tempted to do that again now with Natural Talent on. Because that'd be a big help. Also, is there a weapon which could be better than Burst for this? Strun, I think, takes too much time to. Also, didn't realize my Burst was really that well modded. I didn't think it was. So yeah, like, so much fire rate. So much fire rate. But it's fun, I like it. 43 bullets a second. And that's with a fire rate, that's with a multi-shot of... God. That's with... that's extra 150% multi-shot. So that's with an extra... That's with 3.3 multi-shot. This thing fucking fires 120 bullets a second. I just like to... Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Do you remember the old war,
It's
operator?
stupid.
Order seems to have
Stupid gun.
misplaced those memories.
I love it. Also, it really fits her aesthetic, doesn't it? There she is doing a little hand clap. Is this even her animation? No, it's not. Oh, but Bazza. Poor Bazza. You've been power grabbed, my friend. I'm sorry. I think is the best one. Right, before we go back
You
in,
remembered well how the Tenno arm themselves.
I want to pay a visit to Samaris. So I just want to test the blast theorem here. Because if blast does hit in sonar spots, that's crazy. I think gas can as well. Someone blessed us. First of all, let's test how... Are bombards weak to blast? Seems like it. I want to keep the stacks up. Why did that one die so quickly? Holy shit! We don't have condition overload on this. Of course, notice these guys are level 220. The guys we were just fighting level 120. Okay. And so now... One shot. 53,000. Of course, the other thing to bear in mind, Burston does have an AoE. Can be easy to forget, but it does have an AoE. Quite frankly, unclear. I do know, I believe Glaive's explosions can hit. Well, regardless, as you can see, again, this thing fires 120 bullets per second. One shot. One of 128 is enough to kill that guy. And that is largely thanks to the sonar, right? So that was a bombard right there, so, stack up power buffs here, right? Now let's find a bombard. Right? So I mean, that was still pretty fast, but with the sonar it was literally one bullet. Look at that number. It's just so silly. I love this gun. I was a fan of a Burston before it was good, by the way. It's always been one of my favourite weapon designs. And it's also, of course, I'm pretty sure the Burston is everyone's first prime gun. I think it was mine. I think we've concluded here the blast indeed does not hit the sonar point. But I do think it is possible that hitting the sonar point increases the damage dealt by the shot, which therefore increases the strength of the blast. So I think it does have an effect, even though it's not the effect we quite want. If blast could hit the sonar, that would be way stronger. Let's go back in second time and test with natural talent. Also, unfortunately, something to keep in mind is, of course, different arenas have different advantages. Like, this one's not as good for one we had before, so we're gonna have to find a better room.
They have just
We
shut
don't need more
down all
energy.
systems. I'm sending life support
Right.
capsules your way.
This works. We probably could get rid of Prime Shred. I don't think we need Prime Shred on. I think that's a bit excessive, maybe. But what do we put in its place? More damage? Like, the fire rate can be a detriment because it just eats through the incarnal form super fast. But then again, you can also get the incarnal form back within a second if you play your cards right.
Get ready for a capsule.
That was a weird fucking noise down the street. Now, the annoying thing about Resonator, of course, is it does make enemies randomly turn, but whatever.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
Like, the thing about this is we could get probably straight up better performance on other gun buffers. Like, if I ran the same build on Saren, we'd get objectively better results. Saren has tankier base stats and just better, not necessarily better damage boosters, but better with better, more ease of use, certainly.
Tenno, prepare for life support.
I have a feeling, I think we're not doing as well as last time. Resonator does kind of guide enemies to you though, so it can help with KPM in that regard.
Another life support capsule is now available.
Also, Resonator spots help Xmas enemies, which is cool. I love the burst and, like, it's still good even without the incarnal form. I feel fairly confident saying she's better than Nyx. Let's see how this Acolyte goes if we don't fucking die for it. Also, not great. Not great. Okay, there you go. I'm immediately regretting using Silence because that lowers our KPM. Only slightly, but it does. Also, Banshee's whole silent weapon thing, passive, is pointless. Like, why? She's not a stealth frame. I did have an idea for Banshee rework. You could make it about stealth, so give her like stealth damage multipliers and stuff. Allow her to exploit them even when she's not actually being stealthy.
The operative has
But
just
I
made
don't
their
know.
first discovery. Keep up the good work. Extraction is available if you need it.
Okay, 5 minutes, 487 kills. Okay, yeah, so that's not that much better, but that's because not as good terrain, which is unfortunate. And yeah, a lot of the work here is just being done by the gun, but I mean, that's true for pretty much any weapons platform. Fuck, this room was right here. Yeah, that's the best room in the game right there. You want to get that room if you're testing anything. It's perfect.
They fought well. Good deaths all.
And yeah, we need to bear in mind that performance wouldn't be nearly as good if we didn't have a Resonator, because then we'd have to worry a lot more about our survivability. So, frankly, despite that, I don't think she's going to get a great tier. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the stream here. And I'm gonna go make the tier list soon. Yeah, I'm not gonna test every frame. There's more than fucking 50 of them, and like each one I need to test for at least like 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm not doing that.